What's up, y'all? Kendama, and I'm here with my first episode of Kendama Stories. So, this story is about my first Kendama sponsor. So, this is kind of controversial. Not really controversial, because the company didn't really take off. A lot of this story is going to be what young kids go through when they first get a Kendama and wanting to be sponsored so badly. And the ethics behind that, too. The ethics behind being a young kid wanting to get sponsored. Back in 20 what? Dude, I don't even remember anymore. I think it was like 2015 or 2016. There was a Kendama company that came out with something really similar to, yeah. This right here is this thing is called a Ronin Kendama right here. Very much liked this logo a lot. Ronin Kendama. Now you're wondering, like, why? It's just a swoop. Everyone does swoops now. It doesn't really matter. That's not the problem. That is not the problem. It was that we were doing the swoop, plus we also did that. Now you're wondering, what is that hole right there? You're probably a new gen player, and you're like, why is there a hole in the Serato? And why? Wow, it looks so off-centered. It is very off-centered. It is so off-centered in this. It's like, it's supposed to be aligned with the spike. Back in like 2013, 14, GT Grain Theory dropped its first Kendamas, pushing Kendama evolution, making a very slightly bigger big cup, a nice swoop right here to reduce your weight and have better lunars. Having the thing called the wormhole. That thing right there is basically just a string hole, so you can have really cool pull-ups. It made multiple pull-ups really easily. Arguably, I think pull-ups like with the normal string are actually easier. If you were learning lunars back in the day, like that was that turn, that little turn right there to pull up for the lunar was hard. When you strung it like in the center, that little turn didn't need to exist. So you could just pull straight up to lunar and it was really easy. And you know, the theory was that you'd be able to pull up multiple turns and stuff, but that didn't really take off, I don't think. But yeah, this is groundbreaking. It was cool. Also, like one of the first like USA made Kendamas. It was really awesome. But there was a fellow who decided to release a Kendama that had both of those features and nothing more or less to it. And that kind of caused a storm in the community. Now looking back on it now, I understand that there were things wrong with that, but as a little kid, you don't know any better, right? So you see, I can't afford that thing. I'm gonna go for the thing that costs less and that I can't afford. And that was kind of the whole idea behind the thing, right? Is getting a really high performance Kendama for cheaper. At the expense of people who took a lot of time to design the thing and all that kind of stuff, I realize now, no, that is like not okay. But as a kid, that's what I wanted. And I gunned for this company. I convinced my sister to buy me a all natty. It was like 30 bucks. Now for an all natty, that is actually kind of a crazy price. But they had some fancy packaging. The packaging from Ronin Kendama was actually crazy. I actually have a new unboxed version of what I just showed you, but this was our packaging. Like our packaging was so expensive for no reason. Had a bunch of koi fish on it and stuff. It was like, what for what? And then literally just like, woo, and then wow, it's right there, cool. Freaking packaging was so expensive. So yeah, $30 natties. Anyways, got that, and then I posted so many times. This isn't the Kendama, it was an all natty, I don't know where it is, but I posted with that thing so many times. Even if it had the most egged Tama ever, I posted with that Ronin Kendama all day, every day, so I can get sponsored. I talked to some of the players that were involved with that, and I finally got to the owner. Let's call him Eric, because I'm not gonna out this guy. Let's call the owner Eric. Eric talked to me, said he'd be down for me to be on the team after a while. After talking to the two guys that were on the team, they were kind of vouching for me, and then the owner Eric was like, yeah, let's bring him on. So I was like, oh my God, my first sponsor. I've been posting Kendama clips for so long. I've been winning all these Instagram contests, blah, 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 blah. But I was getting sponsored by the GT copy, and young Elijah didn't know what that would come with, like, at all. It was coming with a lot. It was coming with a lot of heat. But yeah, they send me out like a care package and stuff. And this is in a really weird time where like they're at the end of, you know, selling out of their first batch. We did like, I got sponsored. They sent me some stuff out. Released my, you know, little video announcement video thing, which I think is still on my YouTube. Don't look at that. And then like a clearance sale happens and I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. But like a lot of weird stuff is happening at this point. Now, before we get into that weird stuff, to talk about like the stuff that comes with being sponsored by the GT copycat, a lot of trash being talked to me. My DMs were hit when I got sponsored by them. Like, why would you get sponsored by the GT copycat? Blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, okay, if this is the extent of it, like if I have to answer to people in my DMs, whatever, don't care. Until I went to NKR 2016. I went to NKR 2016, repping my brand. I had the shirts, all that stuff. It was really cool. Had it around my neck, and then like I think the first like couple hours I'm in there, like a kid yells across from like the lunch hall. He's like, "Is that a Ronin Kendama? Is that a Ronin Kendama? Loser, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, wow, I'm at NKR for the first time. This kid's calling me a loser for the thing I have around the neck, which is the same thing and does the same thing as you. Now, principle, I get it. Fans of a company and you're trying to defend your own brand. But also the principle of kendama, no matter like what kendama you have, is that like you're playing and stuff. And that as a kid really threw me off. That really, really threw me off. Also, first like big major kendama event, and then like that being the first 2 hours, a freaking kid coming up to me and or like yelling across and being like, "You running kendama, blah, blah, blah," is like, anyways, no hard feelings. It's good. We're doing I'm doing my thing, he's doing his thing, you know, whatever, don't matter. Cool, I get 4th in open, which is really cool, but it would have been so much more cool if I had like podiumed and like, oh, cool, new player from a, you know, this new company podiumed at NKR his first time. Yeah, I got 4th. That was, that's also a whole nother story. I will talk about that story another time. But anyways, I come out for NKR, they tell me I did a good job and to keep pushing and all that stuff. And we do this clearance sale. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like going through all my kendamas. I don't need any new ones yet. I'm not asking for anything. They're just trying to get rid of this batch so they can do the next batch. Cool. What happens is Eric doesn't really have space in his house because he's shipping all these himself, and it's just a lot of stuff to have in someone's house, right? So he sends it to one of the US guys repping all this stuff, and they are now shipping everything and all that stuff. Start hearing less and less from the owner because he's prepping for the next drop of Neo Tokyos, I think is what they were called. It was like a reverse stripe Zen, so it was a color and then a white stripe. Cool, whatever. We kept asking when that drop was gonna happen, and like it had been a good couple weeks, then a couple weeks turned into a few months, and then we talked to him and he was like, yeah, so we lost the shipment. And I was like, what? We lost the shipment of kendamas. And he was like, yeah, I'm trying to get it back right now. And I was like, oh, so why don't you have insurance to get your money back on the shipment that the shipping company lost? Why? What am I doing here? Posting every day for a drop that's never gonna happen? Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. And the story gets even better from here. It's so sick. For like a good couple months, we're just trying to sell the rest of what we have, and we all get ghosted by Eric. It's actually insane. We all just get ghosted. And silly little me, I'm like committed thinking we're gonna like make a comeback really hard. So like for a good year, I'm just posting with these really beat up kendamas because I had been running through the same kendamas for a good year. I was like, what am I, like, why am I don't know. I'm a very stubborn person, I'm a very committed person, and a very loyal person. I stuck with that too long. Like I was posting for a year for a company that wasn't really posting or doing anything. The only posts we would do was, hey, we still have this stuff on clearance, and it took forever to sell that stuff. And dude, it was rough because like some of that stuff, weight matching was becoming like popular back then. Some of that stuff was not weight matched like good, like the weights on those Kens and Tamas were so off, and people would like come to me to complain about it. I'm like, dude, I don't know, I don't ship them, I'm sorry. I like asked the other people because that guy ghosted us, and they're like, Elijah, it's okay for you to go. So like I make this little post and I'm like, guys, I'm officially leaving the company, blah, 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 blah. And I start gunning for another company, and then gunning for another company, and gunning for another company, just to realize I'm not getting sponsored. And honestly, that's all good and that's all okay. But if I could redo any of that, a lot of people are like, yeah, everything makes you the person you are today, blah, blah, blah. I could have gone probably my whole life without being sponsored by that company. They were really nice to me. They were all that stuff. Me getting ridiculed for being sponsored by a Kendama company was like actually insane. You know, like we're all doing the same thing. And I understand, I get it. I understand and I get it now. Yeah. I could have gone my whole life not having to deal with that stuff, and then posting for a year and all that. And I just wish I was smarter about it. I wish I had left sooner. I wish I had done more stuff. That was kind of like a very nice halt in my kendama progression, because like after I was done getting sponsored, I didn't think there was a point to post. And that's absolutely awful. If you get sponsored then unsponsored, please post still. Like don't make that the only reason you play kendama, or else all is lost, and kendama's not fun anymore. That is the story of my first kendama sponsor. If you have any questions about that story or have any other stories related to that, you let me know in the comments down below. This was super fun and I can't wait to do another one soon. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe button, and hit post notifications so you can be one of the first to watch these videos when they come out. And obviously, sharing the video goes a long way for the channel. This is Elijah from Kendama, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.